No, my name is Angela Carter. I am a filmmaker. I've been in Atlanta since '93, so I've been here a long time. And people probably consider me a wallflower because they probably didn't see me, but I was right there, you know? I've been doing this work. I actually came from the Netherlands to come to Avondale High School, which was the CAP Performing Arts Center of Performing Arts. The DeKalb Center of Performing Arts. And it's still the DeKalb Center of Performing Arts to this day. It's a really good school. And so I did performing arts there, and then I went to Morris Brown and studied mass media arts. And I've been a working artist ever since. Yeah, Atlanta is, I mean, it's kind of cool to be here right now at this point in history with what's going on with Atlanta in the world. You know, I didn't think about, I knew that it was the Mecca, and you know, everybody spoke about it like that, and of course you have the Martin Luther King, and a whole lot of black people are here, so I was interested in coming, but I didn't realize at that time how critical that move was for me to do it at 16, and how critical of a time it was to be in Atlanta. I think the soil is the same. I don't think they get enough water. So I think the soil is the same. It's not gonna change. It's Atlanta, baby. You know, it's like, I got here and it was a cultural shock. It was like, whoa, you know? It was, and then I went to school here, to AUC during the 90s, you know, I saw Freaknik. It was just booming, blasting. Everybody was developing. And I feel like that energy is still here. It's just a little different. You know, because the hustle is still here. You still got the entrepreneurs here. You still got the independent businesses and restaurants. They got Southern food. They got a lot of people from the Caribbean here. You know, the whole of what you would consider to be black people on a global level, at some point we meet in Atlanta. And I think that's still happening. But then, I mean, you know, I'm just very biased with that's concerned because the 90s was just lit to me. You know, even just thinking about it, you get this energy, this vibe. We see each, I mean, come on, like we all still in the city. You know, we use this as a home base and then we travel and do our thing and come back. But we still interact with each other. It's almost like we're an extended family without any blood connection. There's still this eye contact and this like, I remember you. I know you're doing your thing. Keep going. And that to me is what's most important, because sometimes you can get frustrated being here because Atlanta has not been groomed to support artists, right? We are actually the first generation that is grooming Atlanta to say, hey, music is great, freedom fighting is everything, but art rules. You know, I think we, as a group, I'm not talking about individually, you know, you can always move solo, and a lot of people have different cliques in Atlanta because they kind of came up together, which is great. But I feel like as a movement, we need to get just a little bit more serious about how we connect and the power that we have once we do connect, and how we can move in the world in that way. And I'm not just talking about as artists, because once you become a working artist, that's really a business. And that's something that you have to learn. You know, you go to school for art. We talk about that all the time. You go to school for art, but art in life, when you do it and you sell your pieces or you sell your music or whatever, that's a business. You got to be able to deal. You got to be able to make deals. You got to be able to socialize. You know, this whole new social media thing, you got to know how to do it. And yeah, I feel like that's something that we could do better at. I feel like once that changes, then the people that actually enter, they'll enter from a different platform. There's some organizations that are coming up now, and people from our generation that are actually starting to train, just like your company, NobleSol Art, goes to Clark Atlanta University and helps. And I think that that's a big part of it. Just helping people, young people especially, understand. Because I remember in the 90s, I graduated in 2000, there was no net. All right? You graduate and it's like you're free falling. you're trying to figure out what you can hold on to. What part of this art thing that you do well can you start to monetize? And how do you start to monetize it enough to be able to pay your bills and to actually be able to travel and to have the kind of influence that you want to have in the world? And that was, for me, at least as a working artist, it took at least about good 3 years before I figured out which one of my skills I could put on the forefront and that I could hold on to get me to a mode where I was beyond surviving, that I was actually thriving. And that part of it, I feel like we can translate that better to the next generation coming. I feel like if we can do that, then we will succeed, because they'll be much stronger, and they already are. They could just be really stand strong and be much stronger than we are. Because I feel like we're probably now in our 40s. Some of us are entering 50s. Some of us are 35. So I think between 35 and 50, that's really like my crew right there. And we rocking. I mean, sometimes I see us out, I'm like, oh, everybody looks so good. Like, I used to look at old photos, because that's what I do. I'm a photographer and I'm a filmmaker, and I'm realizing that the pictures of my idols, of Angela Davis, of anybody that I looked up to, pictures of my mother, pictures of my grandmother, the pictures that I really, really liked were actually the pictures of the age that I'm in right now. And that's a good feeling, and it's good to see my peers also looking good. And that's what's always been special about Atlanta to me, is that I could rock solo, but it's nice to know that when I step out, I see a lot more people that look like me, that are doing what I'm doing and doing it well.